The only bat available for the Cubs now is Carson Kelly. And he'll be out there to hit next because the pitcher spot is due up next.
That one into center field. Here comes Swanson. And the Cubs win it. Michael Busch, a bouncer up the middle. It ate up De La Cruz. And they walk it off again.
Well, that is just another day in the life of these Chicago Cubs. A one-run victory, 3-2. And prior to 3 days ago, the Reds, they were undefeated. A sparkling 7-0 in one-run games. But all that has gone by the wayside. Close defeats. It's been their calling card as of late, and just winning games at the house, it's been these guys' calling card. 13 straight home games, 7 straight wins. Overall, Michael Busch notching his second career walk-off hit and RBI. And with that said, come on in. Another thrilling edition of Cubs Postgame Live, brought to you by Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer. We are rolling. Cole Wright, Elise Menaker, Ryan Sweeney, and speaking of rolling, the way these guys are playing right now, nothing is to. Well, that would be very clever.
He's rolling too.
Killing, absolutely. But the way that these fellas have been energized over the last few games, I mean, it is absolutely unbelievable. 13 straight at the house, 7 in a row. Come on, Elise.
Never a doubt.
Never.
With this team. And I know that can be a joke, but seriously, with this team, they are always believing in what they can do. The way they're tacking on, staying in games, and that's where you give a lot of credit to the pitching, keeping them in games. And then offensively, just with guys clicking, and even with a hit like this for Michael Busch, it's just about putting pressure on him, putting the ball in play. Craig will say that a lot, which this is a play that Ellie De La Cruz has to make, and I would think normally can make. Just a misplay here, and this is what happens.
Keep it in front of you or something.
Exactly.
Got that in between hop. You almost think that Ellie De La Cruz, with that defensive IQ, would have charged it and maybe reeled in a little bit higher.
You got to think about that play first. Like, you have to make that play.
Get to the ball.
Get the out. Yeah.
Well, I think you got to think that the Cubs in that situation. I know the pitcher was coming up next. You probably have Carson Kelly that's going to pinch hit, but I mean, you got to do anything you can to keep the ball in front of you at that point.
Most walk-off wins in baseball. We told you during Cubs Live, the Cubs, they had 4 of them. They did. Until tonight, they added that 5th one right there out in front of the Cardinals, Padres, Phillies, and Mariners. That is a welcome sign.
The Reds have been really good in one-run games or close ball games. And the Cubs, I understand the Reds came in kind of limping into this series, but the Cubs are also totally changing that narrative right now with them.
Yeah, the last 3 ball games, the Reds suffered 1-run defeats. They were 7-0 before Sunday, and now everything has gone by the wayside. The Cubs, they're now 8-2 in one-run games, and the fact that they can go out there and they know that they're in these close-knit contests, that shows you what a team is made of.
Well, we keep saying that the Cubs keep running into teams at the right point, right, where they're not playing their best baseball. And you see the most comeback wins, the Cubs are right up there. That's surprising that the D-backs are up there in first place. But, I mean, when you take a look at when the Cubs are playing guys, and then you saw Emilio Pagan go down, I mean, you feel for that guy right there. He's their closer. But it's one of those things where they're just running into teams at the right time where certain guys are getting hurt and they're just taking advantage. It just seems like every single night someone else is coming up big. Like last night it was Conforto. Today Busch has 3 hits. He gets the walk-off. It's like, who's it going to be tomorrow? You're shocked.
But right? I also feel like that's the story of a baseball season, because if this were going differently for the Cubs, we could be having the same conversation, how like they have injuries. They haven't had this pitcher. Palencia just came back.
Wait until August.
Yeah, so if they hadn't been winning, we could be saying the exact same stuff, but the way that they are using their depth, guys are stepping up, the bats have gotten hot. It's just really impressive what they've done, because you could have argued the minute Cade Horton went down, things could have looked a lot differently for this team, and that has not been the case.
Yeah, a real rough patch in the season has turned essentially into a soft spot. The last 20 games, the fellas 17-3. If that doesn't sound robust, I don't know what does. Now let's get you to some relief when you need it. Presented by Moore Tax Law Group. They're Chicago's closer for complex tax controversy issues. And well, he's not the closer, and there's no controversy here, but Ryan Rollison, this dude comes in and throws absolute pellets. He's pitching with a little bit of an edge.
Yeah, he just keeps coming in, and he's just blowing people's doors off pretty much. Last night comes in, strikes out the side. We thought he was going to strike out the side again tonight.
5 straight
walked one guy, but when you take a look at Brian Hayes was trying to get that bunt down. I mean, he's so nasty right now that you can't even get a bunt off of him. He threw him 2 fastballs, got behind 2-0, and then throws him a 2-0 slider breaking ball and then comes back and gets him to roll over. So, I mean, he's just coming in these situations that he really hasn't been thrown into very much. And like we said, it's that next guy up. You have needs in the bullpen, and you talk about Ryan Rollison being able to come in and get his job done. He's done that the last 2 nights, throwing on back-to-back days.
And even Jacob Webb, the inning before, he got a save a couple days ago, and now he's coming in, shutting things down. And when you need these guys, they continue to put up zeros, giving the offense a chance, and it's really just a matter of time until they get that hit.
Yeah, Jacob Webb, he's out there pitching with moxie. You see all that emotion splayed all across his face, and then Ryan Rollison, that fastball has got a little fuzz on it, doesn't it, Elise?
Yeah, and so the way that guys are embracing their roles, and probably more than anything, we were talking about it last night with Michael Conforto. Be ready, right? Here's your role. Know when your opportunity could come up. That's a similar conversation with how this bullpen is responding. Night after night, just know when your slot could be, get ready, have your routine, and it just feels like the communication among the players and the coaching staff is so fluid in the best way right now, like just the constant, and it starts from day one. And it pays off right now. Yeah, and if Ryan Rollison, if his fastball has some fuzz on it, Daniel Palencia, his fastball has a full-blown toupee. Yeah. It's been the hair club for men. To have him back, how big is that? 102 on the fastball? I was just going to say, it's huge him coming in. We saw a lot of 101s, a lot of 102s, but to come off the IL and be pumping gas, we know that he's going to come in. You hear when he had the closers music come in and we were all dancing in here, but it's just that type of music that gets you pumped up. He came in, not in a safe situation, but when it was a tie ball game, but it doesn't matter. These guys come out in certain situations, and I don't necessarily think that guys, there was an interview, and I can't remember who it was, but I don't necessarily think these guys have definitive roles right now because it's all hands on deck. Outgetters. But I think that could be helping them at this standpoint because they're like, whatever role I'm being put in, your job is to go in there and get 3 outs. Your job is to go in there and throw strikes. We're not walking guys. We're not coming in. You had Jose Franco that they helped him out a little bit. I mean, that guy has a lot of walks. He had 10 walks coming into the game. 10 and 12 and 2/3 innings. Yeah. So, and I mean, it was a type of game where you knew it was whoever made the mistake, and it ended up being Elly De La Cruz because the Cubs came in up until that 6th inning, and then in the whole game, they were 2 for 12 with runners in scoring position. So you knew that there had to be a big moment in the game where somebody was going to come through, and it ended up being Michael Busch. Yeah, absolutely. When Michael Busch starts to warm up, we talked about it, that means that everyone else is going good as well. And let's see who made life brighter, presented by Pella, windows and doors. And of course, we're giving to the dude we were just talking about, Michael Busch, getting after it, seeing the ball, hitting the ball, bringing the fans at Wrigley Field to their feet, no doubt about it. Swing, look, and walk. I think as soon as he got a little bit of bad face on that, Elise, he knew it was gone. 427. Cooked. I mean, what was exit 105? Yeah, I was like, if this isn't out, I don't know what is. Well, the thing was that was a first pitch fastball too. So he was hunting first pitch fastball. And like I said, anytime Busch is elevating the fastball to the pull side, I think he's about ready to take off. And that exit velo, 98.7. So look at the difference in what gets the job done in games. It doesn't matter. You put the ball in play and good things happen. Yeah, that's just exactly. I mean, I like 427 feet, but I'll take this too. Yeah, of course, but it almost lends credence. Sometimes you say a walk is as good as a hit, but in these scenarios, you would love the extra base runners, but you do need to put the ball in play and see if they're ready to make a play on you. Well, that's the difference when you have that runner on second. Just how the pressure is immediately on. That's when the Cubs' foundation and fundamentals pay off because you have the solid defense, you're getting solid pitching, and that right there is giving best 36 game starts since 2016. What? Remember. There are so many stats right now that are going back to 15, 16. I'm sorry, this is getting a little. Things went off the rails in 1969. You don't necessarily want to compare yourself to that team, but 2016, absolutely. The comparisons, they continue to roll in, and so are the quality knocks. Michael Busch, have yourself a night. Photo Patrick. What if that's really his name? First name, photograph, last name, Patrick, P-double, J.C. Cox, back-to-back nights in Jonesboro, Arkansas. And another one. Waving the W flag. DJ Khaled, state of mind, another walk-off. And it's Alex Cohen. Alex, go to bed. Voice of Cohen 2. Where's Voice of Cohen 1? Oh, it got hacked. Oh, did it? Yeah, that's why there's a 2. I'm dead serious. Never had an account hacked, but Alex Cohen, he's got golden pipes. That's what happens. Pretty fun time to be a Cubs fan. The longest Cubs home winning streak. You see this right here? Ooh, 13 inching closer.
to all those squads with 14 consecutive W's, but right now they're chasing 1935 with 18 home games in a row. But right now it's all about the walk-offs, and Craig, well, I think he may be smiling. Let's go straight to the source.
Yeah, they both two really good games. I mean, I remember thinking actually, in the ninth inning yesterday before we scored, like this has been a really good ball game. Just two well played games. I think, it's when this is the home team stuff. This is when it's good to be the home team and you got your last crack at it. We created a lot of opportunities as the game went on. Fourth, fifth, sixth, I think. Seventh and ninth, I think we created like multiple runners on base and didn't necessarily get the big hit, but we pitched so well that we got the job done and were able to tie the game. And so, and then it's just the pitching, man. We stayed in the game with the pitching. The pitching was incredible. The bullpen was incredible today, and got ourselves another win.
Home winning streak. I think there's 5 walk-offs, 5 different guys. I mean, it seems one of the marks of this team is so many different people have come through. How much do you enjoy that component?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great representation of what we've been talking about the lineup, how much the bench guys have produced, and we can produce kind of up and down the lineup. So that's a cool stat. Absolutely, that's a really cool stat.
With Swanson at second in that situation, how much conversation is there? I mean, he's a great base runner, an experienced guy. Is there some rules of thumb, when that situation comes up, Paulson?
Yeah, I mean, I think you trust Dansby. I mean, if you can beat the ball, that's kind of the rule. But I think Dansby is, one of the best in the game at those types of situations. So his aggressiveness, put De La Cruz in a bad situation almost, and his feet got a little tangled up as to where they'd normally be on just a routine ground ball to shortstop. And then Dansby said he felt like a pitcher running the bases because he didn't take the greatest turn around third, but he had to get to third. That was his mission, is to get to third on the play, and it ended up creating a mistake.
Can you talk about Bush coming through not once but twice late?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, it felt like we had a ton of opportunities, and maybe it was runners in scoring position. It wasn't a runner on third and less than 2, but it was first and second and 2 outs, bases loaded and 2 outs, 2 innings with bases loaded. So tonight we got a homer that tied it, but yeah, I mean, Bushy came through with a big one for sure. The homer was a big one.
In the ninth, do you get a sinking feeling at all when you have that pitcher who is really shaky out there, and he's 3-1, I think, on Bregman lines one. But I mean, it seems like when those things get away, it gets a little shaky.
Well, I mean, I think look, we had Bregman up a 3-1 count. We had Seiya got to a 3-1 count. You work hard to get to those counts. You try. They both knew. They both kind of sitting on fastballs, and the guy made decent pitches, right? So you kind of say, okay, you want your best hitters swinging on 3-1 counts, right? So that's the game. That's the game.
Is there kind of a cumulative factor we have this many walk-off wins bunched together? I think we have 2 longer winning streaks than you did all of last season.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just make yourself hard to beat. That's what the kind of the you develop this resilience and this hard to beat mentality. That's what it creates, I think. And I think a belief system, like we're down in the 8th, we got a shot, and it's not always like that. And comebacks and late inning, late inning stuff creates that. Sometimes you just need to see it to believe it, and I think this team is doing that.
You're focused on your team and trying to win, but just how tough is it to see Pagan go down?
Yeah, that's. I mean, you did. I mean, the way you went down, it didn't look good, and it looks like it's going to be a while, and so you never feel good about that for a player. That's a bad feeling for everybody.
Rollison's had some big outs. What's he like with you? You know, what's his demeanor like in these moments now after some experience?
Well, I mean, it's not normal to have 8, innings with this new team and have the 4 of your appearances be in huge situations. I don't think that's normal, but that's the situation he's been put in, and in a lot of ways, I would think Ryan might tell you he's been waiting for a long time for this opportunity. And sometimes that's what making a career for yourself is about. You got a shot, you get an opportunity. We've talked a lot about when we have these injuries, it's going to create opportunities. And somebody's going to take advantage of them. And Ryan's done a heck of a job taking advantage of an opportunity.
You had a very good start again, which has been, you feel that's been the key to this whole thing?
Yeah, I thought Jamo was, I don't think Jamo was great today, in terms of he fell behind way more than he normally does, but he did make pitches when he got behind in the count, and he made some big pitches in big moments. And then you look up and he got 17 outs and there's 2 runs on the board, and that's a darn good start. That's, that's Jamison Tyon sometimes. I think he's always going to compete and figure out a way and execute no matter, he gets into a bases loaded moment, and he's going to make a pitch, and he keeps doing it. He keeps doing it.
I feel like Craig every day puts on 8 Mile on the Team VCR in the clubhouse. You only get one chance. Do not miss that shot to blow. Look at that. Ryan Rollison, is he missing his chance? Absolutely not. Michael Busch also made sure he struck when the iron was hot. The Cubs are rolling, son. Nico Fan Club with the sharp pun and play on words. And the fellas, as Boog and JD said, these on-field celebrations beginning to become commonplace around these parts. A 3-2 W in extras. The fellas with 13 home wins straight and 7 in a row. We're going to show you how it all unfolded. Highlights next right here of these first-place Cubs on Cubs Postgame Live. Don't you go anywhere.